Okay, so imagine you're me, June 5th, 2025. You've just booted up Deltarune Chapter 3, opening night. It's a mad dash to find the newest, super secret, overpowered Tumblr bait boss character for your next video. And after 4 long years of teasing, the only thing the marketing really told us to expect was a certain CRT. His antics were groovy, but never glooby. He had a 3D body in a 2D game, and a dialogue quirk that drove the salesman insane. It was
Mr. and Tenna.
Clearly, this had to be our guy. Just look at him. He was checking every box for that radiation fox formula. So pen in hand, foam at the mouth, I was ready to say it with him, folks.
Holy Hungadero!
What is that?
In an instant, funny TV man's hopes for TUCKALMIGHTY stardom were dashed. Ripped away by a farmer of aura so legendary that the next chapter's boss had to be an eldritch abomination just to compete. And in that haze of knights, titans, and old men, poor Tenna suffered the fate he wanted least: to be forgotten. And you know what? That just won't do. So today, we're giving him the chance to take back the spotlight. That's right, TV man. I've lined up the most jaw-dropping, heart-stopping, mind-bending matchup of all. One that's guaranteed to make you a
Big shot!
all you have to do is beat that guy.
Huh?
Alright, I'll be honest, while this is a popular matchup, following 2 very well-liked indie series, Tenna vs. Caine is one of those fights that seems awesome until you think about it for more than 5 seconds and realize your TUCKALMIGHTY video is suddenly looking a whole lot shorter than it's supposed to. For anyone who doesn't take their indie with a side of animation though, Caine is the godlike ringmaster of the amazing digital circus. Modern day's most ubiquitously adored indie animated franchise since, like, The Annoying Orange?
Hey, Apple!
At a glance, the parallels between Tenna and Caine are pretty obvious. Manic showmen who trap real people in fictional realities, doing anything and everything to keep their audience entertained, because that job is all they are. Neither Tenna nor Caine are real. And for most people, that's the deep appeal. Caine is an AI created to protect and control the digital circus, while Tenna is a literal CRT, given life by a magical fountain of darkness. It's really not hard to see the parallels here, but what is hard to see is the stats. Our man Tenna, he's great. We all love him. Can't get this out of an egg. The reason he took so long to get around to, though, wasn't because of dislike or a lack of popularity. It's because Tenna isn't just 1 or 2 rungs below the top of the Deltarune scaling ladder. He's way down there. He's not stronger than Queen, he's not stronger than Jevil, and he's definitely not stronger than Spampton. There are Chapter 1 characters with 0 on-screen feats who could still unironically slime him. Spampton, who knew Tenna very well, still believed his Neo form was on a totally different, unbeatable level. And Jevil is comparable to Spampton, while Giga Queen beat the Fun Gang, despite them being amped by the Thrash Machine. All things Tenna just couldn't do. And keep in mind, these are Chapter 1 and 2 characters from half a decade ago. So where does the guy even have left to scale? Well, he's basically just as strong as a normal Darkner. Broadly speaking, those inanimate objects brought to life by darkness, called Darkners, can be summed up with a few feats and statements. In Chapter 1, Susie reacts at Mach speeds to dodge Ralsei's sound-based yapping. In Chapter 4, Lightworld Chris throws a chalky milk at Mach 1 speed. And in Chapter 3, Tenna's subordinate El Nina creates an ice block that would require building-level energy to freeze. While I know that sounds kind of ridiculous looking at how small they are, you've got to keep in mind, changing water's state of matter takes an absurd amount of energy. which is why similar water-based enemies like Miss Mizzle or the infamous water cooler also have building level calcs for the same things. Tenna would obviously upscale all of that, being physically stronger than every mini-boss or earlier main bosses like King or Mechless Queen, but that's basically where Tenna's hype ends. His unique Darkner magic allows him to put the party into fun physical challenges with his attacks. However, ultimately, these are just glorified minigames scattered throughout his TV world. Sure, he might be able to force random characters into a minigame where they can take magical damage and stuff, but it's all temporary. And once his turn ends, you can go right back to attacking him. Like I said though, that's all great. Tenna has a perfectly acceptable level of strength for his role in the story, which is sadly very minor. What about the other guy though? What can this Caine do?
Oh, looks like one of these guys made it through.
Wait, what?
Okay, yeah, that was probably a fluke. Sure, Caine's got the goofy cartoon logic, but he can't just poof people out of existence. That guy was just an NPC or whatever. Let's look at something else he... Right, for anyone still confused, despite his goofy demeanor, Caine is repeatedly stated to be an essentially all-powerful being, ruling over the digital circus. He is outright called a god by many characters, and as the master program in charge of the circus, there's effectively nothing he can't do to the people trapped within. We've seen Caine manipulate human memories, delete entities, and create entire kingdoms beyond the main circus. It's also been said by both author statements and in-universe dialogue that Caine has complete control over the laws of physics within the digital circus. That's why everyone, including Caine, is an indestructible cartoon character on some Luffy time. It's intentional design by his AI, meant to make the circus a perpetually happy place, where bad things like death or swearing can't happen. And keep in mind, everything I mentioned there is Caine being nice. We know he deliberately hides aspects of his power, like abstracting the players, since he has no serious desire to harm anyone for most of the story. So, for this fight to work at all, we already have to give Tenna the enormous benefit of the doubt that Caine can't directly use his powers on him. Because otherwise, this is just the 2-for-1 Hollow Purple Infinite Void special before Tenna gets turned into a slug or something. If we assume that Caine can't reality warp Tenna though, what happens then? Does that level the playing field? Well, Caine's physical body is still indestructible, and his existence is tied to the circus's code, shown when glitches on Caine affect the entirety of the circus itself. Meaning, all Tenna can really rely on is rage-baiting Caine into a meltdown to make him give up on life? Whereas, even without direct hacks, Caine can still create weapons that would absolutely hurt Tenna. The guns in Episode 6 were created with permissions to comedically damage circus members, who themselves could tank hits from abstracted Kaufmo or the massive physics engine truck explosion of Episode 2, both of which scale comfortably into the same building level ranges as Tenna. Caine also created a replica of Uzi's railgun from Glitch Productions' other show, Murder Drones. And without going too deep into it, that thing fires light-speed photon particles and has its own building-level calcs. Some people even think it's outright planet-level from some weird scaling, but I digress. Caine can create weapons, objects, and characters capable of hurting Tenna, and can spam as many as he wants until the rainbow screen of death appears. The guy literally has the power of the sun in the palm of his hand, cause he made that too. Even if you were to give Tenna the most glazed interpretation of his own abilities, implying he could trap Caine in a minigame forever like he's Rule's card, Caine's entire existence revolves around creating and manipulating minigames. Him imagining a way out really isn't a stretch. So, yeah, realistically, Caine calls it an adventure, sicks his circus freaks on Tenna, and goes to think up his next innovation of the Gloink 2 or something. Poor Tenna probably should have just gotten another generic TV head matchup, but instead, his worst fear comes true. Forgotten for the newer, fancier model. And that's all for today.
Oh, you're getting too smart. Time to delete. Ah!